Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to the next episode of Five Deep. Five original gangsters from the planet Earth, keeping it old school, using accountability to achieve our dreams. And I was sat there in the car this evening waiting for my boy to play football. And I thought, if we was like rappers, who would we be? And I'm looking at Rodney now, and he has got to be Dr. Dre. Okay. Anybody disagree with that? He is the original gangster. He is Dr. Dre. Would you be happy with that, Rodney?
Yeah.
the doctor that everybody loves. Yeah. What about Howard? Who do you reckon Howard would be?
Vanilla Ice.
Ice Baby.
No, because Vanilla Ice, I mean, Ice Baby was one of the biggest selling hip hop songs of all times. I don't think, no disrespect, Howard, I don't think you've got that. Do you know what I mean? It's not in you. I was going to say, what would you say, Rodney? What if he was a hip hop artist? Who would he be?
He could be a little trivia for you guys. He could be Jesse James. Who's Jesse James?
No, I don't know that one.
Jesse James.
Who is Jesse James? Who is he now?
Don't know. Go on, break it to us. I recognize the name.
You guys don't. You probably follow him on Instagram. His wife is huge as well.
Are you talking about Rev Run?
No. He's what's his name?
You've even forgotten.
I can't think of his name now. I remember it's Jesse.
Great fucking trivia, Rodney. Well done. Welcome to episode 6 of 5 Deep.
Is it Itzler?
Jesse Itzler. I forgot about him. That's your guy there.
He is Jesse.
Lee, you love him.
Well,
he's awesome.
I was thinking he was more of a Joe Budden or perhaps Joe Biden. That's what I was thinking. I've got down here for Lee, right?
Fat Joe.
Fat Joe? Could possibly. I was thinking more of an Eminem, personally, because I know you're a big fan. But perhaps Feminem. You could be the female version, Feminem. You know, the more yeah. What do you reckon? You feeling that one?
Do you got?
I don't know where this is going.
I can't wait till you hear Marc, because he's gonna be the best rapper ever. I already
yeah.
Well, what about Harmony? What about Harmony?
Foxy Brown.
Foxy Brown.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I would say that, because Mexicans are brown, considered brown people, right? So go with that.
Howard, what female rapper do you know that Harmony could be? This would be interesting.
None of them. I don't know any of them.
Don't know any male rappers, let alone female rappers.
Nope.
I was thinking Lady of Rage.
The fuck is that?
No clue.
Who is that?
I know who that is. But she need the Afro puffs, and she need
But she was a kick-ass, wasn't she? I was thinking of a Lady of Rage or Missy Elliott. You could be a Missy Elliott. I've seen her live. She's pretty awesome, but she's getting she's old and wrinkly now, Missy Elliott. She's got quite a bit of grey hair. I was quite surprised.
Whoa.
What about me then? Come on, then. Who am I?
What's wrong with grey hair?
Nothing's the matter with grey hair, but carry on. Who am I?
Fucking hell.
You're the guy called Gecko.
I am to rap music what Marc is to movies. I don't know anything what you guys are talking about.
I was thinking, because of my Celtic connections, I was thinking of Everlast from House of Pain.
Oh my God.
And that's why I've worn my cap this evening.
Oh, can we get a couple of bars of what it's like?
Is that the jump around one that they do?
Yeah. Jump
up.
I've
heard that one before. Which
jump.
Is that all they do is just jump? I guess it's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Put on your shit, kick some shit. That's all. That's as far as we're going. Anyway, guys.
But dude, I mean, come on. This is your idea. You gotta give us some. Give us some of your work here.
Drop a fat one.
I put the gangster into gangster. All right. And we'll just leave it at that. Episode 6, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. Bit of a different start to the episode, but Harmony, how you was away last week? Tell us what you was up to.
Oh my gosh, everything: paddleboarding, jet skiing, swimming, riding mopeds, eating all the food.
That was pretty funny watching you on the moped. I bet you. Have you ever had anything that powerful between your legs before?
Yeah, I've got a huge motorcycle sitting in my driveway. Of course I have.
So was it like riding around on a moped?
Oh, so awesome. So awesome.
That crazy frog around Florida.
It's the best way to get around Key West. Key West is like 2 by 4 miles. So if you're going to go anywhere, you need to be doing it on a moped because they charge like $40 to park for the day, sometimes $100 to park for a day.
Really?
So it's a good way to like boot scoot boogie around the island.
What's the matter with
Howard?
Yeah,
What's going on with Howard?
Howard, what's up, man? What's up?
You laughing or you crying?
He's still thinking about something strong between my legs.
He's
Is that what's going on?
He's thinking, shit, I haven't done my advert for protein shakes. Yeah, I haven't done it yet. We're fucking 6 minutes in. I haven't done my
I'm trying
advert.
to focus here.
Yeah.
I think
So
he's lost.
Continue. Oh.
did you do any snorkeling, Harmony?
I didn't snorkel. I did
No?
not snorkel. But I did paddleboard right over about a 4.5 foot wide stingray, which was really cool.
Cool.
Scary too, right? Was that scary?
It was when I fell in the water off the paddleboard. I scrambled really quick, and I'm sure I looked silly trying to climb back up on the paddleboard, but I managed to do it, so it was all good.
Is that the first time you've done it?
Yeah, it's the first time I've ever done it. It was amazing.
How difficult did you find it?
Well, the paddleboard I had was a rental, so it was pretty rough. It looked like it had already been attacked by a shark at some point in its past. So I don't know that it was as sturdy of a paddleboard, but it was hard. I mean, it takes some strength to be able to do that.
Was it
Got on anything after seeing it looking like it got attacked by a shark?
There was a shark in the water where we were. I found out after we left, it's the most populated. It's most populated with sharks in the world. But they, interestingly enough, have never, ever had a fatal shark attack. So, I mean, they're everywhere. Shack attack.
There's always a first time, and I don't want to be anywhere near it.
That's right, Howard. Fuck that. I'm out of the water. As soon as that whistle's blown, I'm gone. Out of that water. No shark getting me. No shark getting near me, you crazy fool.
Yeah, I mean, we were sitting eating, and there's an area. This restaurant was at a marina, and so we ended up having a table very close to the water, and there's giant fish, and people are feeding them, and there's roosters walking around the restaurant. And I happened to glance down, and there was probably about a 6-foot shark just gliding through the water. It was really creepy, and I was safely up in the restaurant, but it was creepy. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Time.
I've seen Jaws.
Yeah.
I've seen Jaws. I ain't getting in the water with a nose.
So I say you think you're safe in the restaurant until it just boom right up in the.
So last week, Harmony, we was talking about our February goals. How did your goals for February go, and what are you focusing on for March?
Oh, it's game on now. Like, I've got the vacations under wraps. I'm ready to kick ass for the remainder of this year and on. So it's children's book stuff, going to the cafes or the coffee shops every Monday to do computer work so I can focus. Continuing to network with people, getting more regular on releasing the Bliss Broker podcast, because I have not, we talked about it on Voxer a little bit today. A few of us haven't released podcasts, but, the upside is that we're focusing on this. But just a little bit more. I'm going to be a little more disciplined in how I spend my time moving forward now that I've got the fun, rest and rejuvenation out of the way. It balls to the wall from this point on.
It's funny, isn't it, really? Because, Rodney said back along the one thing that he liked about me was the fact that I was consistently putting a podcast out every week. And I was saying, Howard was saying the other day that, he's 3 years in very, very soon, and he hasn't released a podcast since January, I think it was. And I said, well, I've only released 2 episodes of the Mark Jeffries Show this year. And I've got 2 episodes banked up. Funny enough, this afternoon I sat down and I've just edited 200 and my 3rd episode. So that's going to be going out tomorrow. But I've just been so busy with putting my attention to this, my Design for Life podcast, and just doing stuff behind the scenes that you just can't do it all, can you?
Mm-mm. You really can't. You try.
So March is the month where you're just going to kick yourself in the balls and properly give it what's up, are you?
Yep, I'm going to see what I can accomplish by being a little stricter on my scheduling. Like, just, as I mentioned to you guys in the Voxer check-in today, like, there's a top 3 things that have been my focus up to this point, and that's, getting my day job stuff done, fitness, all those types of things. But I haven't really carved out the time that I feel like I could be carving out for branding of the Bliss Broker. And quite frankly, the community, because I know we're going to get into that today. Again, big ups to the community, because those are the ones who, boom, out of nowhere, I'll get an email from somebody saying, your last podcast was great. You know, when's the next one coming out? Hello. You know, it's been like 2 weeks since I put one out. So community really helps like keep you honest. And also, you know, I mean, I was sitting on the couch a couple weeks ago and randomly got a Instagram message from an ex-boyfriend of mine. We split up in 1999. He lives in California. I live here. We have people in common. So every once in a while we'll shoot the shit for a minute online or something. But I just got a random message from him after not speaking to him in years. And it just said, hey, I'm sitting out by my pond. I just listened to your, you know, whatever number podcast. I just wanted to let you know that it was a fantastic podcast. Keep doing what you're doing. And it's just those little, you know, reassurances sometimes that you need from, it doesn't have to be anybody special, but it makes it more, have more weight when somebody that you know and has watched you grow and has known you for such a long time, that you find that I didn't even know he would listen to my podcast, y'all. And the fact that he took the time to send me a message, and just as a little, like, you know, keep going, you've got this. Because I'm sure he's listened to other ones that I've done, but it felt really good. And I think it just gave me, again, community. It gave me that little bit of reassurance that even if you're only affecting 1, 2, 3 people, it's worth it to continue to show up. Yeah.
And I mean, forget all that a little bit, in the sense that it's just nice when anybody gets in contact with you and says, you know, I really, really enjoy your stuff. I had a guy send a message to me about my Design for Life, and he's already called it his most favorite podcast. And it's just like, whoa, you know, I mean, the last episode, it was only a 15 minute, very, very short, but I got the message across, and I've had quite a few people come back to me saying that they've enjoyed the episode. And when you start something new, and when you're involved in something new, those little comments that come through to you, you know, it's those comments that keep you going, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they really do. It's really they're gifts.
So if anybody's listening to this, drop us an email and tell us what you think. Lee, what about you? You wasn't able to join us last week. How did you do in February? Your goals, did you achieve them, and what have you got lined up for March?
I did achieve my goals. I exceeded my goals. And March is just more of the same. Double down, and similar to Harmony, I need to stop getting quite so distracted doing other things that don't really serve me. I'm like a fish with something shiny, and I'll see something and I'll be like, oh, that's good, and then I'll get into something else and I'll be like, oh shit, no, I should be doing this. So just a little bit more discipline on not getting so distracted, doubling down on what I'm already doing. And I had just to reiterate what Hamony said, I had a message today from somebody who I considered a relatively good friend in school, and he messaged me today asking for help, and I was like, fuck, this is what it's about. And it really got me here, because he was so vulnerable, genuine. And he was like, dude, I need some help. And
it wasn't Prince Andrew.
Stuff on Facebook. It wasn't Prince Andrew, no. And he's been seeing my stuff on Facebook, and he's like, you know, you popped in to my mind. And I was like, so I reached out and I was like, dude, this, first of all, amazing that you've contacted me, and absolutely I can help you. So, you know, like I said, it's just that 1 or 2 people, and I'm just like, this is what it's for. And it's fucking brilliant.
Well done.
Good job, Lee. That's amazing.
Good luck to us all for March. Like I said, last week we did come on and give our goals for March. So we're all super focused for March. One thing I wanted to start this episode off with, even though we're like 14 minutes in, is we did say behind the scenes before we even started this that, as well as accountability, we would be talking about current affairs and stuff that's going on in the world. And I thought that, you know, nearly 2 weeks in now, it's possibly a good time to just reflect on the shit that is going on in the world. on Sunday, me and Nikki and the two children, we went on well, I'd say it would be more like a war protest, if you know what I mean, really. We stood on the Tamar Bridge, which is the bridge between Cornwall and Devon, and we filled the bridge up with yellow and blue flags, and, to try to, get people tooting and showing their respect and noticing what is going on in the world. And it's a very scary time at the moment. It's a strange time, and I just thought that we could just quickly go around the room and see what your views of the invasion of Ukraine at the moment, because I just feel that it's something that we need to talk about, and we're going to be talking about community later on, and this, believe it or not, will roll on quite nicely. So Rodney, we'll start off with you because you're in the top left hand of the screen. What are you taking of this at the moment?
As somebody who has done violent things to people and has experienced violence, if I never had to have another argument or another fight or another disagreement, I'd be just fine. So anytime I see people being hurt, whether it's in other countries or here, my backyard, I feel a bit of sorrow for it, because I don't truly understand exactly what's going on. I don't know all the politics behind why certain countries go to war with other countries. I just don't know. I don't have enough information to really make an educated comment on it, as far as I'm concerned. But I just wish peace for everybody. I mean, that's really all I got to say about it.
Mm. Do you think, though, that any of us really know what's going on? I mean, we all do our own research and we all try to find out what's going on, but everybody's calling Putin a see you next Tuesday, that he's the next Hitler. But the stuff that, the West have done, which can be deemed the same, getting too close to his boundary lines. And I'm not condemning what he's doing, because I feel that what he's doing is absolutely horrible, demolishing people's lives and dropping bombs. And this, I don't agree with the way that he's doing it. But
you mean you are condemning?
Yes. But what I'm saying is there's two sides to a story, and I think that media a lot of the time it's all eyes on him. And I mean, I was watching an interview the other day with an MMA fighter, and he was from Ukraine, and he said, I've got family in Ukraine, I've got friends in Russia, and I don't know really what the fuck's going on, because everybody's pointing their finger at Putin, but we're just as bad this side. And who do you believe? Who do you believe, Howard? I'd say that just as he's about to take a drink.
I had to take some of Howard's Blend plant-based protein powder in order to get the brain going, make sure I have enough energy. I am on a diet for 2022, and I've actually been on a diet for a while, and that is a diet of trying to remove as much media as I can from my life.
You're cool.
So for the last 2 years, the media has been going in a frenzy over, the virus going on. Now all of a sudden, what happened to the virus? No more. Now it's it's on to something new. So I'm like Rodney. I don't like anybody. I'm a very peaceful person. I don't want anybody to get hurt. I think war is wrong, and I hope that for the best for everybody. I hope everybody's as safe as possible. But that's all I'm going to say.
But if anything does happen, you've got your camo gear on, ready and waiting now, I do see.
I have this ready, and also, as long as this is sealed, it will stay fresh for quite some. It says 2 years, but still, it's as long as you don't have air exposed to it, it'll stay fresh for a long time. I just can't legally sell it.
I suppose you could actually use them as sandbags as well, couldn't you, to prop your gun up against?
That, and for a weight workout, if you're looking, if there's no gyms, everything's destroyed, you can just lift some and everything. Yeah, throw it around. Absolutely. You can barter with this, because then who's going to need money? You just say, hey, I need some clothes or whatever. I'll give you a couple of packs of Howard's Blend plant-based protein powder.
And if you catch it on fire, people, it does a great sticky bomb. You can stick it on the tracks of a tank and light it, and it will blow the tracks off.
It has not been clinically tested for that, but I'm trusting you there.
Not that you know of. Not that you know of. But Lee, I mean, you was talking on Voxer this morning about it. What's your view, mate?
Oh, this is one of the things that I got distracted on. And I would disagree with you with your two sides to every story thing. I think there's three sides to every story. I guess it's a matter of perspective, isn't it? But there's the two sides and the truth. And it's finding, what is real. But I think this is a fantasy, a pursuance of a fantasy, trying to be, I don't know, pursued by a delusional guy that's time is against him. Is it political? Is it economical? Is it a battle for natural resources? Can you really get into the mind of a madman? No. So I don't think we ever really get to find out what it's all about. But I agree with everybody in this conversation tonight that it's heartbreaking. It really, really is.
Mm.
I don't really watch the news, but my eyes have been on it pretty much all the time since it started, and it's just horrific. And I get pissed off, to be honest, because you hear all these. I'll go off on a bit of a tangent. You hear all this virtuous fucking vocabulary from celebrities and dickheads on Instagram saying, "Oh, my heart goes out to him," and it's like, it doesn't mean anything. Like, I know it's nice to say it and it might make you feel better, but it doesn't mean anything. I think we all have to do something, whether it's just fucking be nice to your fellow man or, give generously to a charity. But I think we all need to do a little bit more for our fellow human beings.
Mm. Good call. Good call. What about you, Harmony? What do you think about it all?
Well, I'm going to let you know that I attempted to Google because I don't watch the news. I'm like Howard and, most of us. I just intentionally do not watch the news. But I was really curious as to what was going on with these families who've been displaced. And of course, things have popped up about a lot of people around the globe renting Airbnbs, with never having the intention to go sleep in these Airbnbs, but they're trying to put money back in Ukraine. And I was just curious, like, what started this? So I Googled it and I went to several websites to try and read what was going on. And I feel like I'm a pretty smart person. And I felt like I was reading a different language. Like It just didn't make any sense. There was no initial beginning. There was some things going on about Putin felt like Ukraine was part of Russia and then he didn't. And then I just felt really confused. I left that research feeling very confused. And then it just kind of hit me. I went back to my innate understanding of the fact that war and all this bullshit that our governments do all over the globe is usually rooted in stinginess, money, power, fleeting like ideas of wanting to be in control, ego-based bullshit. And so I just kind of retreated from trying to figure out what was going on. And as you mentioned, somebody in here mentioned somebody's got friends in Russia and they've got friends in the Ukraine, and they still don't understand what's going on. The chances of me understanding are slim to none. And so it's just so frustrating that there's, it's the people that don't have a dog in any of that fight, whether they're in the Ukraine, whether they're in Russia, they're born there, been there their whole lives. Those are the ones who are feeling the brunt of this and who are getting displaced and have nowhere to go. And I'm going to say what everybody else said. It's heartbreaking. And I love what Lee said, that it puts you in a position just to realize that the people you come in contact with, the best we can do as a society and as a human race is to be responsible for how we show up as a human being when we go out into the world. And whether that's at the grocery store or work or with our family in our own homes, just to try to do the best we can do to be good and hope that creates a ripple,
Yeah. And, the one thing that I feel upset for as well is I feel sorry for the Ukrainian people that, it's got nothing to do with them. But I also feel sorry for the people of Russia, because it's like in the Second World War, you know, everybody called it them the nasty Germans and that they were horrible and that lot, but it wasn't the people of Germany, you know, it was a conflict that they were drawn into. And I mean, you have a look at a lot of the people of Russia, you know, the troops of Russia that thought that they were going on an exercise, that they didn't even know anything about it, you know, and it must be terrible when you've got family and friends just over the border, that you're seeing all of this that's going on, and then all of a sudden you're having your televisions turned off and you don't got no internet, so you don't really know what's going on. And you know, when you think that 2022 this shit's still going on in the world, you know, we didn't think there would be another warm war, did we? We thought that it was all going to be the next war would be something where it's cyber attacks and stuff like that, and then 2022 it's the same as what it was in 1945, and it's just sad to see, and I just feel sorry for all of the people that's involved, really. And our hearts go out from the Five Deep crew, and you know, let's just hope that this shit gets sorted out sooner rather than later. And yeah, I don't really know what anything more to say about that, but I just thought it was a good topic to bring up, because I've just felt that we had to just talk about it, because it's something as strong as that's going on in the world. I've just felt that it had to be brought up, and it kind of like leads quite nicely onto our topic tonight of community, really, because what I was the way I was looking at this is, if you was an alien up in space at the moment and you was looking down on what's going on at the moment, who would you be more fearful of? Would you be more fearful of NATO, or would you be more fearful of Putin? Go on, Lee.
I'd be more fearful of the human race. You know, we're in the grand scheme of things, if aliens came to Earth, they'd take one look at us and go, what the fuck are they doing? We'll come back in a millennium. We'll come back in a million years and see if they're still fucking here, because we are, you know, if there's a scale that you can measure us by, we're fucking embarrassment, aren't we? Really. I won't say too much about it because I don't go off on a tangent, but I just think we are young and uneducated and stupid in, I mean, what would you say? The I can't think of the word. Yeah, I can't think of the word. But yeah,
No worries. Sorry. Well, where I was getting from is that, you know, in this sort of situation, I mean, we're talking about community on this episode, and, you know, does it pay off to be a member of a community like NATO when you've got a tyrant in the world such as Putin? Is there anybody that would like to jump in on that one?
I mean, I think that's the idea, is that
Oh, Harmony's gone again.
Harmony's not part of the community anymore.
She's gone.
She's no longer part of the 5 Deep NATO.
Black Hawk down. She's gone. She's had enough. Go on, Howard. Sorry, man.
I guess that's the idea, is that if you're part of NATO, you're part of it, and then you get the advantage of having the other countries look after you in case, you know, something like this were to happen. But I mean, I don't know whether that's going to do any good. I mean, who knows? I don't even know, has NATO ever been put to the test like this before? So I don't know. You know, so there's a first time for everything, and kind of like what Lee was saying, I'm thinking of, what is that? The Day the Earth Stood Still, the sci-fi movie, where it's like the aliens say that humans are no longer valid, so we're going to blow you all up. You know, and all I can say on that is, you know, yeah, we're stupid, but that's, you know, you have to go through it's just like we all talk about all the time. You have to go through the struggles and then hopefully learn from the mistakes, and then, you know, grow bigger because of that. But
we never do we? Because I mean, you look, you know, the last the last 2 years we've had coronavirus. Everybody over the world knows more than somebody else. One scientist knows better than somebody else. Everybody's blaming China for this virus, and, you know, people's falling out with one another, and nobody really talked across the world about this whole coronavirus. We've come out of this coronavirus, you know, quite luckily, really, I mean, I know a lot of people have died and it's a sad thing, but we I think we've done better than what we originally thought we was going to do. And now this is kicking off and it's just like, when are we all going to just get along?
Never. That's never going to get along since the beginning of time. That's why it's different tribes, different factions. You had the Crusades, different religious wars. We're never going to get along as long as somebody thinks that currently what I do or what I say is more important than what you do and what you say. And you should listen to me and my way is better. As long as overall people, we can't get along. This is the big, government wars is just a microcosm of what we're doing now, right? Just in your neighborhood or just in your street. When you're driving down the street, if you stay at a red light too long, somebody's honking the horn for you to get the fuck out of the way. Somebody's walking across the street and they just take their time, because they have the right of way. So they just figure, I'm just going to stroll across things that upset us. So that's just like a microcosm. And then you think of how people are positioning themselves for power on a grand scale. The fact is nobody's willing to give up powers or just turn it over. What way that stuff gets transferred historically is from wars and bloodshed. Nobody think about it. When's the last time somebody said, "Hey, take my power. You have it for you. Spread it out. Do what's best for the whole world with it." No, it's that what was it? On my cold dead hands. Who said that? With the NRA.
Charlton Heston.
Charlton Heston for my cold dead hands. That's the way this stuff gets changed. Unfortunately, it's been like that for forever. So I don't see it changing anymore.
Lee?
The day you cannot define one person from another based on a look, a belief, a genetic makeup, until that day comes, nothing will change. You see this portrayal of what's supposed to be the perfect being, which is an alien, and they all look exactly the same. They're controlled by a hive mind, and they are supposed to be one of the most powerful beings, that exist. So as long as there's differences between us, yeah, I agree with Rodney. It's never going to change. But then that should be celebrated and understood. That's what, on the flip side, makes us fucking incredible.
Yeah. I mean, this is what we talk about all the time, innit? When we're around the table, not all of us have the same beliefs. We all have different beliefs, but we're able to settle down and have a discussion like we are tonight. And somebody will say one thing, somebody won't agree with it. But I mean, does language, does the different languages, does that get misinterpreted at times? I don't know. But Harmony, have you got something to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of put out there that I think mainstream society forgets that all these things are going on simultaneously. They rely and they relax and they put all of their awareness in what's on their 6 o'clock news. And then that's where their focus goes. It's like, I'm trying to think of a way, something to describe, but they're just sheep, and I mean that as respectfully as possible. I don't mean that to badmouth mainstream society at all, but I think that unfortunately, because we're so guided by media and like Lee had made mention of, it's shiny things. You turn and you look. I mean, our media, it's a business. We all know it. We've discussed it in here before. And I think that, because it's a business, the news channels want to be the best and they're constantly competing. And so they have shifted what they post and what they show and what they air and what they report on who's going to get the viewers, what's going to be clickable. And I tried to click on a few different websites to read different news stories over the week that I was gone. And a lot of them it would give me just enough time to read like the first 3 or 4 lines. And then it would pop up, you have to have a subscription to this to keep reading.
Yeah.
And, it's just, I guess what I wanted to kind of highlight on is that there's so much bad shit going on simultaneously around the globe But at the same time, like Lee looking on the flip, is there's so many good things going on simultaneously around the globe. And I think that it's up to us as individuals to take responsibility for what we allow to go into our eye holes and our ear holes, because that is going to immediately affect how we move through the world. And I think that it's not just about, I don't want to watch the news because I don't want to feel like shit. And I don't want to, I want to put my blinders on, and I can't do anything about it anyway. But it really is about the knowing that what you take in, the content that you take in, good or bad, is going to immediately affect your mood and your energy that you put out into the world when you go. So it's a personal responsibility to the collective community how you interpret the world around you. And if you're taking in negative bullshit and you're taking in news and Putin and F this and F that and these people and those people, you're, whether you want to or not, you're soaking up that energy and that vibration, and you're taking that out into the world, even if that's just from one room to the other in your own home.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think just being responsible for, like, I love that Lee ended with that. Like, our differences are beautiful too.
Sweet. Howard, over at the International Space Station, what's it looking like looking down on Earth at the moment? Turn your mic on, Elope.
Is it on now?
It is on, yeah.
Oh, thank goodness, Jesus. It's pretty shitty from up here, to tell you the truth. Yeah, pretty, no. So a couple of things. One, I agree with what Lee said about our differences is what makes us special, and the chances to learn. I mean, I've talked about this with my friends. I have friends who've lived in many different countries. I've never lived in a different country before. And I've only been to Mexico as my other foreign country. I just like to the tourista spots. And it's so interesting to hear their point of view, and including your guys, from over there, even in the inferior country of England over there compared to the United States. It's interesting to hear your point of view on, anything, and to learn from, and it's a chance to learn. So it's like the differences is what makes us stronger. To what Harmony was saying, I think she was going kind of on the same wavelength. There is the media. I talked about the media diet. Well, the media is what spurs on the division among us. Media is a business. What's going to get more clicks? This racial or ethnic whatever divide, or peace doves being released into the air or something like that. It's the division. That's what they make the media. And then, but that kind of what Harmony said, that then foments the society. Like, oh, you have to be pro-Ukraine. You have to put Ukraine flag in your Instagram, whatever for it. But like what Lisa, what is that going to do? How's that going to help anybody over there? Why don't you put your money where your mouth is and donate, or, get a Airbnb. What I'm leery of is what happened kind of during what the virus is, that if you don't go along with what the official correct groupthink is, that you're out of society. How dare you say, well, wait a second, let's try to look at it from Putin's point of view. Oh, how dare you do that? You're not for go Ukraine. You're out of society. We're going to cut off your credit cards, like what they're doing. I mean, what do the people in Russia have to do with?
Yeah.
I've heard, I did hear that, where they cut off credit cards. Like, what do the people have to do with it? It's not the, and it goes to what you said, Mark. It's the, I guess it's safe to assume that the people in Russia don't want war. So it's my thoughts. I'll be sure I unmute my microphone next time.
I mean, I've had a few people ask me, and I've said that, there's two sides to a story. And from what I was saying at the beginning there, some people will all of a sudden have their eyes rolling as if to say, what's he talking about here? And all I was trying to get across is that there is two sides to the story. And over here in the UK, I'm not saying that Putin's a saint and that he's doing the right thing, because I condone what he's doing. Is it condone? Is that the right word, Lee? Did I get that right?
Condemn.
Yeah, I condemn what he's doing. You get to understand this for me, names and all these fandangle words. I'm still learning the English language myself. I don't agree with what he's doing, right? But there is two sides to the story, and a prime example over at the moment is we're trying to stop all these Russian businessmen trading money around the world and banks and all that sort of stuff, and we're trying to stop all this shit going on. But we're still buying oil from the Russians. And it's like, that's what I think that we've got to look at, is that one hand's doing one thing and the other hand's doing something totally different. And if you're going to put this sanctions in place, you've got to just completely cut a person off, completely cut a tyrant off, even if it means that we're going to be fucked over big time. That's what you've got to do, isn't it? But there we go. Like I say, I think we've gone on too much on that one. But yeah, good input there, guys. But like I say, this week's episode is like, we're talking a little bit about community. And, you know, we was talking about NATO and stuff like that, fighting against Putin and stuff. But when you start up your brand, your business, whatever you're doing, how important is it that you're part of a community, a network, working together with other people in other countries, other businesses? Or should we be like the solo entrepreneur that doesn't get involved with anybody else, that tries doing it by themselves? You know, how important is community? And did you have something to say there, Howard? Did you put your hand up? Right, you press the little microphone button, right, and you turn your mic on, and then you can talk. Right, go you ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I appreciate the tutorial. Yeah, when I clicked the raise hand button last time, that's what got me confused, because too many buttons to click. Well, community, especially for the business I'm in, which is supplements, unless you have the money to make your own manufacturing facility, that's just the first thing that comes to mind. I do need a community of sorts, because I need somebody else to help me make the product. You know, eventually a community of marketing team and a sales team if that's needed in the future. But then you also have a community of people who want to follow me and buy the brand. You know, that's the community there. Is I build a community based on what, kind of like what Harmony was talking about, like what you put out into the world. That's the community, and then people follow you for that reason. I mean, why do we follow each other? It's because we built a community here. So yeah, I think it is you can't. The old thing is like, oh, I built this on my own. Well, no, you didn't build it on your own. I mean, you did the work. Absolutely, you did the work, but then you needed other people's help along the way, and there's nothing wrong with that. We're all here to help each other out. At least that's the plan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I noticed when podcasting first took off, and you know, you would have a podcaster and they wanted to go it alone, and they didn't want to get involved with any other podcasters, because, if I start promoting somebody else's podcast, people are going to listen to their podcast and they're not going to listen to my podcast anymore. And now, as a podcaster, you always interact with other podcasters. You always big them up, you know, tell the world about how great their podcast is, and you all work together as a community. And, you know, that's what I have seen changed in any business. So in my 20, 30 years of being on the planet and looking around, you know, since I left school, is that people seem to be helping out one another. You know, people that in towns, you know, I don't know, butchers are helping bakers out, and bakers are helping news agents out, and you know, everybody needs to work in a community. Everybody's got their own place in the community, and everybody needs to help one another to build, to grow, you know. And you know, we're seeing it on social media, aren't we now? And you know, how hard is it? How difficult is it? How easy is it to build a community on social media, Harmony?
Oh, it's definitely time consuming. I mean, it's really just you're playing the long game. There's no doubt about it, because you can't just expect. I mean, there's people who go viral. There's a person that's on Joe Rogan's most recent episode, The Beast. I had never heard of him, but I listened to him today, and he's been online since he was 11, and he's one of I believe he's the top YouTube performer anywhere. But he was talking about starting out. He was 11 years old, and he hit it right out of the gate. His first video got like 20,000 views, like way back in the day before YouTube was even a thing. So there are those people who, you know, hit it big, and they're just in the right place, the right time. But for the most part, I think that was a big learning moment for me, is you're not just going to get online and look cute and, you know, say something fun and get a following. You've got to be consistent. You've got to show up every day, so that people are getting used to seeing you and they can count on you being there, regardless of what it is you're trying to sell, what you're trying to share. It doesn't matter. It could be not even a business for money. It could just be a community operation. But it's all about consistency and showing up. And it's going to take, I'm years into this Bliss Broker thing. And I'm three years into having an online presence, roughly. I'm 2 years into being consistent as far as the Bliss Broker brand goes. And I'm just now getting people reaching out to me that don't know me. They're people that are not in my friendship circle. There are people that are not in Asheville that have reached out to me on their own accord because they saw me somewhere and are asking for coaching. And that's been years, So, I mean, the odds that I would be coaching an ex's fiance is bizarre to me. But I think the thing about it is I kept showing up, and I think it was one of those scenarios where she didn't want to like me. She didn't want to buy into what I was doing. But at some point or another, she said to me, obviously I'm keeping her anonymity, but she said, I reached out to you, wanted some information on coaching. You showed up on Google. I started listening to your podcast. I really, really resonated with your podcast. And then I found myself being very drawn to wanting to work with you. And I realized if I reach out to this woman, she's going to think I'm batshit crazy. But I think that to me was a huge win. The fact that somebody, an independent woman, first of all, anybody independent, it's really hard for them to ask for help. It's painfully hard to ask for help as an independent human being. But then for her to ask for help from somebody that is basically connected by a romantic relationship, I gave her so many kudos for that. But I think that happening and her finding me on her own accord, it took years. I mean, a solid almost 3 years for me to be able to be available to the world, to the globe, or the internet, whatever, however you want to put it. It took years of me showing up every day on Instagram. I really believe that. Like, if it wasn't for me showing up and walking the walk and creating content via podcast, whatever, she wouldn't have hired me.
No.
And
the thing is as well, I mean, I've been on Instagram now 2 or 3 years, possibly longer, and I've noticed in that time how building your community has changed. I mean, once upon a time, everybody was paying for followers. We went through a stage where people were buying followers. We went through a stage where people were follow, unfollow, and building their community that way, which we all know is the wrong way of doing it. But I mean, you talk about consistency there and showing up. And I think, well, I know the correct way of winning this ball game is, like you say, being consistent and being patient. And when somebody likes you or starts following you in your community, how do you interact with that person? And how do you keep them in the community? What do you do as the Bliss Broker to welcome them to your community?
Just talk to them. I think I was overthinking it for a very long time. I was making it about marketing, and I was buying into what they say on the internet, like we all do. We don't know. We come in, we have no clue how to start this whole thing. So we get drawn in and we start following, whoever's got the best algorithm on Instagram, the most recent Instagram expert, instead of just making it about a conversation, instead of just making it about, like, I think I had mentioned you guys in some check-in that it's some, networking gathering that I'd gone to, a speaker came up and said, look at your marketing and look at you building your online community as going into an actual party in person. And if you walk into that party, you walk into this event and you go sit at the corner table and you just sit there and watch everybody interact with one another, the likelihood of you walking away with any real deep connections or business cards or future clients or whatever is slim to none. You have to mingle. You have to walk out into middle of those groups of people. You have to give eye contact, give a firm handshake, talk, be excited, talk about who you are, and talk about your heart brand. Mm-hmm. And I think by doing that, people will naturally be gravitated towards you. So there's going to be something about that interaction with you in person that they're going to remember.
Yeah.
That's the goal, is that they've had a conversation with you, and that down the road, when they find a need for whatever it is your services are, you pop into their brain. And so you can do the same thing virtually online. And I started doing that. I just started interacting. I started having conversations with people. And when I do a post on Instagram, whether it's an IGTV or Insta story or whatever, I do it as if I'm looking at like I'm having an interaction with somebody. I don't look at it as, I'm going to look cool if I post videos of me running, or I'm going to look cool if I post a picture of me making a latte at home. I'm just doing it, interacting with my group, with my community, with people that in other words, it's no different than if I'm making a latte on an Insta story. It's no different than if I was making a latte for somebody sitting in my kitchen. I really look at it as intimate like that. And I value so much my community, because if it wasn't for my community on Instagram, I wouldn't be the bliss broker.
Very powerful stuff there. And I just wanted to, you was talking about eye-to-eye contact there just a minute ago, Harmony. Well, I don't know if you've noticed, but your glasses are on your forehead. When you fell over just a minute ago, I'm just not sure if you just knocked them up by accident, but they are, if you're looking for your glasses, they are on your forehead there, darling, all right?
Thank you.
No problem at all. Right, community there, Lee. I mean, I don't know. I mean, how long have we been in this social media game now? It seems like we've been in social media game for years and years and years. I mean, it started off with MySpace, didn't it? And then it went Facebook, and then it's gone to Instagram and all these things here now. But, you know, we haven't always had social media in our lives. And, you know, how did people build their community 10, 15, 20 years ago? Can any of you guys remember? And what advice would you give to somebody that's not on social media? How do you go about building your community if you're not on social media?
I mean, I think Harmony said it all. And it's conversation. It's building relationships. I don't know if any of you guys have read or listened to The Prosperous Coach by Steve Chandler and Rich Litvin. And he tells a story about his parents owned a clothing store. And I'm sure you know relatives or parents that you've got who used to buy their shoes from, you know, this guy. They always used to buy their shoes from this guy. Or, you know, they'd go to the tailor for their jeans because there was a personal connection. Because every time you go in, it's all about conversation. And that's the way I want to build my brand. That's the way I want to build my coaching business, is one relationship at a time, through deep and powerful coaching experiences. And like Harmony said, you go onto Instagram and everybody wants to sell you some kind of program on how to grow your business, or, you know, this 6-figure dream and all the rest of it. And they tell you to get loads and loads of emails and shove them into a funnel and filter out the crap. And at the end of the day, you're left with a handful of people who you've got no connection with, you've got nothing in common with, and more importantly, you've built no relationship with. So if it takes me 5 years, 6, 7 years to build a business, at least after that time, I know I've done it because I've built one relationship at a time, and I give people powerful coaching experiences and conversations that they remember. That's the most important thing to me. So, you know, I think you need to ignore the algorithm. I think you need to ignore sales pitches from people who claim to be able to develop a 6-figure business for you. You know, you need to stop paying £2,000 or £3,000 for a 12-week course on, well, basically just collecting emails, because it doesn't mean anything. You need to take your time, slow down, and we live in a I want it now society, and we need to develop patience and just take it one step at a time. Just build conversation, build relationships. That's all it is.
Yeah. How do you show up in your community there, Rodney?
Which community is that? This one?
Well, just the Rodney Sadler community. I mean, because the thing is, it's like, you know, we all get tied down to having our business lives and our social lives, but, you know, why can't you just have it all together, all as one? You know, I think sometimes we make this social media and our life far more complicated than what it needs to be. You know, just showing up every day, doing the same, and just being, like Harmony says, being consistent and doing the right things, talking to people and having a chat. And, You know, I'm on my post round. I'm always stopping and chatting to old ladies or old men and asking them how their day is. And you know, you're building a community up in your own little way, because eventually, when you get to know these people, they're like, oh, so you know what you know? Did you watch the telly last night? Well, I don't watch the telly. What do you do? I'm a podcaster. The next minute, they're listening to your podcast because you've had a conversation. You've shown the time of day to that person. But for the likes of you, which is doing something, you know, which is a very, very community-based project, isn't it? What you're doing there, Rodney? How do you show up for your community as Rodney Sadler?
Well, first of all, I self-care. You know, I've learned that to, you know, take care of myself so I can be the best for the people around me. But, you know, just to kind of go back to the community aspect, the reason why it's important is when you think about like church, gyms, social clubs, you know, even like, you know, like the Weight Watchers or CrossFit gyms where there's a lot of, you know, pulling each other forward. You know, I think it's important. So for me, the main thing I do is first with the conversations. I'm always open. I'm always approachable. And because I've lived a colorful life, you know, I feel like I have, you know, unique experiences to offer people. So I'm always sharing my life experiences. Sometimes people feel like too much because I think a lot of people are afraid that people are going to use things against you and things like that, or don't trust. There was like this movement a couple of years back, like this no new friends movement, where look, I have everybody I need and I don't need any new friends. I'm not letting you into my circle and that type of things. I don't believe in that. I believe that we are here. We are social creatures. If I'm talking to somebody and I see that maybe there may be a piece of advice I can give them, or at least an example, an anecdotal story, then I'll present that. I try not to be pushy with it because people are not so trusting, but it has to be a consistent thing. People have to see you all the time in that light. They have to see you showing up. They have to be able to see that you're authentic and you're not, there's, you know, I'm just being myself. I feel like because of my size, you know, I have to smile a little bit more. I have to lean into people a little bit more, bring myself down a little bit more. These are things that endear me to people. So I've been told that, you know, when people first look at me, and then when they have a conversation with me, you know, their first impression is they thought I was mean, or they didn't think I talk, or they didn't think I joked a lot, things like that. Where the main thing is communication. You know, for me, whatever community you're going to be in, you have to be able to talk to people. Everybody's not the same. You know, Lee likes a kicking ass by Harmony. You know, Howard might go in the corner and cry when Harmony kicks his ass. You know, who knows?
No,
But
Howard loves it.
I'm just, you know, I'm actually the one that cries, but I'm saying in general, you know, it's just communication and putting yourself out there. You got to put yourself out there, and people have to be able to see that you're authentic. And that's the way I show up for my community. In every community that I'm in, I try to, even because I made, you know, mistakes and I made wrong decisions and bad decisions. I've tried to correct those. And when you do that type of stuff, you definitely have to show up every day because people don't believe you. You know, they still believe you are that person that made those mistakes or did those things. So it's however you want to slice it, showing up, communicating with people, and then also for me is being approachable.
One thing that I noticed that you're doing at the moment, and one thing that a lot of people aren't doing at the moment, is giving stuff back to the community. You know, that to build your community, so many people are thinking, right, well, I've got to take. I've got to charge people. You know, I think that to get some recognition and to build yourself in your community, it doesn't hurt giving stuff away for free, going to charities and helping out and all that sort of stuff. Because, you know, you go to like Harmony was back along, which I think you spent one Christmas, didn't you? Or you tried to go into a shelter place and helping out there kind of thing. You know, you get talking to people, you meet people that you wouldn't normally meet, and you get conversations started. Who knows where that's going to go, carry on? You know, those people aren't going to be on the streets forever. The people that you're working with that are in charity doing the same thing as you don't know where that's going to take. I think people are too frightened to give stuff back to the community, do stuff for free and help out. And that's one thing that I want to look at in the near future is what can I do to help out in the community to build my personal community and just to generally be a nice guy and be recognized as a nice guy. Harmony, over to you.
It just goes back to the strategizing thing. It's not about strategy. It's about just turning your focus inward.
Yeah.
It's just like, who are you? How do you want to show up as a human being? And when you start doing that, you're naturally going to be gravitating towards people who are like-minded, who they'll have an opportunity to get to know you. It's a very similar connecting with your community, whether it's online, virtual, or in person, is just about you showing up and walking the walk about who you are and having a very clear intention about what it is you're trying to put out in the world. And whether you're trying to sell real estate or sell protein powder, be a coach, whatever, just do you. You know what I mean? Like, show up and do you. You eat good. You just show up for yourself, however that is that you're going to show up. Document parts of that you feel comfortable documenting, and it will come to you. The strategy doesn't have to be there. You just live your life whole and live your life authentically, and the things that you need to succeed will find you. I believe that.
Yeah, good stuff. Lee?
Yeah, Tony Robbins said it best. The more value you give, the more money you make. Monetary reward is not always the be all and end all. That's just the byproduct of being a valuable person. So I think that needs to be kept in mind a lot more, especially nowadays. We all live this scarcity mindset, and every 5 minutes you hear, "Oh, I can't afford it," or "Oh, I need to save my money," or "I'm going to put the money in the bank." Don't get me started on savings accounts, but we all just need to deliver value, and that will come back around twofold, even more.
Yeah, sweet. Has anybody got anything else that they'd like to bring up? Because we're up to the hour sort of stage here now. I mean, I know next week we would like to reflect on self-sabotage, because it was something that Harmony brought up. And is there anybody else that would like to bring anything up on community there this evening before we quickly touch on a little bit of self-sabotage for next week? Have you got something to say there, Harmony?
No, I'm just ready to go live on StreamYard. I think it's been interesting to me, the amount of, I just went live like when we first started the call tonight, and more people logged on to the 5 Deep Instagram Live than have ever logged on to mine. And I had to shut it off because I can't film anything. They can't hear it because I've got headphones on. But I was like, okay, that sent a message to myself. We need to get our asses on StreamYard, because even if 5 people are watching us, like, I think it would change the whole dynamic in a good way,
So, I mean, the thing is, like last week we talked about getting out of your comfort zone. The last few weeks we've been talking about getting out of your comfort zone. And, we was going to start off this podcast straight on StreamYard, and we decided that it was possibly not the best thing to do once you're starting a podcast, having to juggle and walk and ride a bike it gets a bit impossible. But I think now, what is this, episode 6? Now is possibly a good time to get the ball rolling on StreamYard, and we'll have a chat to Rodney, because Rodney's the guy that knows his shit about it. And it's something that we can be looking down in the future there, Rodney, and very, very soon, about getting on StreamYard.
Yeah, I mean, we can stream to Instagram as well at the same time. But if we want to build up the YouTube page, then we want to direct everybody to YouTube.
Sweet. Well, it was a very good episode, guys. I mean, I don't think we touched on community as long as we was possibly going to, but I think we got some good nuggets of information out there, and it's just a case of showing up, building your community one person at a time, having patience, giving back to society. It's not all take. All of those little things there is vitally important about building your community. Being nice, being transparent. These are all things that we've talked about for the last 5 weeks now. This is how you build your community. And you don't have to do it on social media. You know, if you are like Howard doing his protein powders, you can go to the gym. You can give stuff away for free. You can go and talk to people in the gym and ask them what protein powders they take and use and their experiences and build a relationship up with a person one by one and build that community at one by one. That's how we used to do it. That's how you can still do it. We don't have to do it on social media. Get out and go everywhere and just go old school, go new school, and just get on social media and join pages and interact with people. If you're a podcaster, talk to fellow podcasters, get on at different podcasts and just chat, be nice, you know, be friendly, and go there. Next week, we're going to be talking about self-sabotage. Do you briefly just want to talk, briefly, 2 minutes max there, Harmony? Just tell us what self-sabotage is and what we're going to be talking about possibly next week.
It's just screwing yourself over, just stopping the flow of growth. And we do it so easily. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even have to be in career. I just think that without even knowing it, we will sabotage our relationships. If it's something that's going to require us to level up in some kind of a way or show up and be vulnerable, which I was going to say when you were talking about building a community, a lot of the reason why people don't reach out to their community is because it makes them feel vulnerable. And being vulnerable is hard. It takes a lot of courage to get yourself to a point where you're like, I'm just going to show up as me. I mentioned, I think I said this last time I was on here, just let the chips fall where they may. You'll start seeing those things are all connected. But really, I mean, like, look at all of the ways that society sabotages themselves in business, in love. I mean, pretty much every avenue that we have as humans, we can screw ourselves over. It's because we choose to not want to elevate to what our truest potential is. We all have the potential, and I hate to sound like some shit sewn on a pillow, but we all have the potential to become something great. And the only thing that keeps us from doing that is ourselves, period. I believe that. And so, but by sabotaging ourselves, and it could be something as simple as, setting your alarm on your phone and you purposely roll over and turn it off. And then you lay there and ruminate over for 5 minutes. Well, I need to be getting up. I should be getting up, but this feels so good. You're sitting there having a conversation with yourself. Just get your fucking ass up out of the bed. You know what I mean? Like, it really, to be aware of the fact that is a form of self-sabotage, rolling over and hitting snooze 17 times, which I'm not making fun of anybody. That's my thing. I've got like 3 alarms set on my phone and I turn them all off. So anyway, it's really just about focusing on how we can screw ourselves over and keep ourselves playing small.
I would say the definition of self-sabotage is Boris Johnson. And I think we'll leave it there. We'll quickly go around.
Boris?
Hey. Oh, what was that?
Where's Boris?
Can you? There's somebody.
Space station.
There's somebody speaking from the ethos of time. I can't see nobody, but I can hear them. Hello?
I'm coming to you from the multiverse.
Marc calling.
I've been listening this whole time to all you guys ramblings.
Would you want to say something there? You can have the last word there, Howard.
He did raise his hand, in all fairness. You skipped right over him and went to Lee, but...
All right, sorry. Howard, go on. Sorry, I didn't mean to ignore you. Go on, go you ahead.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Go on, then.
All I got to say is, I don't go talk to anybody in the gym. The hot girls come to me to talk to me.
Oh, look at this.
Look at, here we go.
Yeah, there you go. What can you say about that?
I got something to say.
Yeah. Harmony, where can the listener find us?
We are at Official5Deep on Instagram. We are official5deep@gmail.com. Please reach out. Go like and subscribe anywhere you possibly can. I put some links on our Instagram Insta stories. The link is right there. All you got to do is click it. It's going to take you right to our YouTube. So give us some feedback. We're only as good as you guys allow us to be. So let us know what you think.
Cool. And we're going to finish up with a little rap there from Dr. Drizzle, Rodney Sadler. That's right. New York is that big. They say it twice, homeboy. Guys, it's been emotional. Thank you very much for joining us once again. Stay safe, stay classy, and we'll see you same time, same place next week. Chilly bye.
Bye bye.